Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 best and worst Netflix movies. Yes, when I say by saying this right away, I'm talking about Netflix original movies. Yes, not movies that are playing on Netflix. I mean actual Netflix original films. Alright, now that we cleared that out, this is the top 10 list that most people have been recommending for me to do for quite some time. Like when I did months ago my favorite Netflix shows, everyone's like, do your favorite Netflix movies and stuff. And the reason I didn't is because I haven't seen all the Netflix movies to do a best and worst. And yeah, I've seen more now, so I could do one. I'm doing this now. I don't feel like these lists are complete because there's more and more Netflix movies coming on by the month and stuff. And again, I haven't seen every Netflix movie, so there could be even more bad ones out there and even really great ones that I've missed so far. But as of right now, and when it comes to the Netflix movies I have seen, these are, as of now, my top 10 best and worst Netflix movies, in my opinion. Yes, my least favorites and my favorite movies on Netflix. Alright, I'm gonna start with the best. In my next video, I'll do the worst. So yeah, let's get to it. Here's my top 10 best or favorite movies on Netflix. Netflix original films. So yeah, it's not just movies on Netflix, original films. So yeah, first before a top 10 list, you gotta have your honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Mudbound, 1922, When We First Met, Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond, Imperial Dreams, Audrey and Daisy, and A Very Merry Christmas. All very great, really great films that were on Netflix. Just give me the top 10 list. Again, it's personal opinion. I know a lot of people are probably freaking out already, like, oh my god, Mudbound's not on this top 10 list. Again, it's all opinion, but yeah, anyways, I digress. Yes, great films, just give me the top 10 list, but didn't make my top 10, it's my number 10. My number 10 is the movie To the Bone. To the Bone, I know everyone's like, oh, you like this more than Mudbound? In a way, yes. Mudbound has a lot of great things in it. Just, I don't know, this is hit a little more close to home and stuff because I actually know people with eating disorders and stuff, and this movie's brutally realistic about people that suffer through eating disorders and depression and stuff, and it's really hard to watch. It's very dark, and yeah, it hits home for me. It is a very good film. Lily Collins is in this film. I know I've given a lot of smack to Lily Collins because she's done a lot of really fucking shitty YA films, but she is genuinely great. I actually bought her as this girl with this really bad eating disorder. The way she looks in this film, how skinny and just really gross she looks, she plays the part really well, and she really got into the role into this film, and she did a great job. I also love Keanu Reeves as the Doctor. He's such an awesome and likable character, and he's brutally honest, and how he treats these patients and stuff is, it's just the way all doctors should be and stuff, especially if you're trying to guide people from an illness, and yeah, it's done really well. There's a love interest in this film that is a little corny and very predictable and stuff, but it works for what it is, and I like the message of this film, and I like the performances, especially by Lily Collins and Keanu Reeves, and even all the other girls when she goes into this home with all these girls with eating disorders. Most of them all give very good performances, and again, it's very brutally honest, it's very blunt, and it really has to be because this is a very serious issue. It's a very serious illness that people go through every day. I've seen people, and I know people in my life who have this illness, and it is really unpleasant and not very nice to look at. In this movie, it does a very good job. It captures people with eating disorders really well. It's dark, it's brutal, it's a bit raw, and I think it's a really well-made film, and I really enjoyed it. Coming in number 9 is The Fundamentals of Caring. Yes, the biggest praise I can give this movie is that it's right. The title is right. The Fundamentals of Caring. I actually cared about this movie, and I remember seeing trailers for this film. This movie, it didn't look very interesting to me. It looked very sappy, very melodramatic. It didn't look very good to me. I gave it a watch when it premiered on Netflix it's been a year and a half or something. It was really great though. Paul Rudd is so good in this movie and so freaking great, so funny and so likable. And the kid in the movie, I forget the actor's name, but in the wheelchair, he is so great. And even Selena Gomez is good in this movie, and she is not a good actress by no means. but it was a very touching story, very funny, very likable and stuff. And again, it holds no punches and stuff. It's very blunt at times and pretty dark and very realistic. And I really loved the relationship between Paul Rudd and the kid, and it was a really very touching relationship, and the friendship, I just really bought their friendship, and they just had genuinely great chemistry, and the comedy really worked, and just, it wasn't sappy and manipulative like a few other films I'm going to be talking about in my top 10 worst. I thought this was a very delightful film, a very well-directed film, and I actually had a lot of fun with this movie, and I've actually watched this movie more than once. A movie that I didn't even want to watch once. I've seen more than once. It is that good and that impactful, and a movie that I really, really liked. Coming in number 8 is Our Souls at Night. Yes, I have some weird choices on here. I don't know, just certain movies hit me. Just, it's the way you are in this world. Certain films just hit you a certain way. Even if a movie's amazing, it just may not hit you well, or maybe you don't relate to the film, or maybe it just didn't move you like it did other people and stuff. And yeah, this movie was really great. Our Souls at Night has Jane Fonda and Robert Redford. I was about to say Paul Newman, but Robert Redford and Jane Fonda in this movie, and basically they're these old people. Obviously, they're getting pretty old themselves. And basically they both lost the loves of their life, their husband and wives and stuff, and basically they can't sleep at night. So basically they make a pact with each other and their neighbors and stuff, and they make a pact to sleep with each other every night. Not sex, like literally legit sleep beside each other every night to help them, fall asleep, because their whole lives they have had their spouse sleep beside them, and now they have to sleep by themselves. It's very different, and they're becoming insomniac and stuff, so they think if they sleep beside each other, they can, feel that comfort and feel that love again. And yeah, it works and stuff, and then they build a relationship upon it and stuff, and yeah, it's a very beautiful relationship, and I had fun with this movie, and I really enjoyed it. I found it a very moving, very touching film. I thought Jane Fonda and Robert Redford were both great in this film, and I thought they had really great chemistry with each other, and I really loved them. I loved their chemistry and their connection with each other, and learning about them was very interesting because they're not perfect people. Jane Fonda's a very likable character, but Robert Redford, he seems like a very nice guy and a likable guy, which he is, but he has done bad things in his past and stuff, and it's interesting. And then when they go into the story of Jane Fonda and her son and stuff, who is a very broken person, there's a lot of layers to the story, and it's a very atmospheric film. It's a very slow-moving film. If you don't like slow-moving, talking films, then this is definitely not for you and stuff. And it's not like a sappy film either. It's a very, very realistic take on a relationship when you're older and stuff. It's very slow, very atmospheric, very moving, and I really got into this film. I thought this was a really delightful film, and yeah, it really touched me. Current number 7 is I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. Yes, that is a weird fucking title. Yes, I don't feel at home in this world anymore. Try saying that 20 times fast. This is a very bizarre film. I just recently watched it like a month ago. A lot of people told me to watch this movie and review it and stuff. They're like, this is such a good film. Give it a watch. It's amazing. It's one of the best Netflix movies out there. It's so good. I finally came in to watch. All the praise is right. It is a great film. Melanie Linsky's great. Elijah Wood is great. This is a very darkly comedic film. It is, again, it's raw, and it's very strange. It's a movie that is definitely not for everyone, but I think this is a very deep and smart and thought-provoking film. I thought this was a damn great film. I won't spoil anything. Basically, it's about a girl, and she's basically fed up with the world and fed up with society, and she basically takes her martial arts teacher, and they basically, inflict some pain on certain people because she got robbed and stuff, and that's all I'm trying to be as vague as I can, because this is a film that I can't spoil, especially what happens near the ending of the film. This is a really deep, very smart, very clever, really well acted film, and yeah, definitely one of the better films on Netflix. Coming in number 6 is Wheelman. Wheelman, this is such a good film. I love movies like this, especially if they're done right. It's not quite as good as Drive, but this is still really great, very tension-filled film. Frank Grillo was really entertaining in this film as this driver and stuff. And basically, again, a deal gone wrong, and then his daughter gets involved and everything. And just the mysteriousness of who he talks to on this phone. It's really interesting and stuff. It tries to be a lot like Drive meets Lock, and it's not as good as both those films, but it is still a very tension-filled movie, and I thought Frank Grillo was so good. The cinematography was also really well done, and it's a very low-budget film. The action's really intense, and it's very thrilling and very engaging, and yeah, I found this a very entertaining film and very effective film, and definitely a film I can recommend. Coming in number 5 is a film that most people have talked about it to death, so I'll try to spare you guys from talking too much about it, and that's Okja. Okja is another film I was really late seeing. I saw this like early November and stuff, and it's really great though. It's really well directed. Again, it's got really bizarre performances by like Jake Gyllenhaal and Tilda Swinton. And it's basically about this relationship between this kid and this weird monster, Okja, and stuff. And it's very adorable. It's very cute. It's very dark. It has a lot of great social commentary. Talks a lot about politics and society and media and stuff. And it's, again, very blunt and very realistic. And realistic to the point it's almost off-putting. And it's a great film, though. It's really it's heartwarming. It's funny. It's thrilling. It's edgy. It's dark. It's gritty. It's just an all-around it's just an all-around great film, and definitely a film you guys need to check out. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. It's a great film. Coming in number 4 is The Meyerowitz Stories. Yes, The Meyerowitz Stories is written and directed by Noah Baumbach, a filmmaker that a lot of people can take or leave. I like Noah Baumbach. I think he's a great filmmaker. Between movies like Frances Ha and While We're Young, and just I love his work. And The Meyerowitz Stories is a great film. It's another great installment in his whole filmography. It's not quite as good as While We're Young or even Frances Ha, but it's still really good. Dustin Hoffman, Ben Stiller, Adam Sandler all give great performances. Adam Sandler, I'm glad to see Adam Sandler actually fucking try in a film, and he's actually genuinely likable and really good. He gives a very good performance. Ben Stiller is also good, but Ben Stiller's usually pretty good. Dustin Hoffman's pretty unlikable in this film, but he does a very good job, and I love the story of these brothers. The brother relationship is the most interesting, and really, that's the main core of the film, is the relationship between these two brothers. Yes, it's about their sister as well, and their relationship with their dad, and how their dad wasn't always the greatest father and stuff, but I think the true heart and the true core of the film is with the two brothers, Ben Stiller and Adam Sandler. I think they're both great in this film. They both have this sort of jealousy with each other, but then they grow to like love each other more and respect each other more and stuff, and admire each other and stuff. And it's just a really well executed film and a damn great film. Again, it's very Noah Baumbach-esque. It's got his sort of comedy, his sort of style, his sort of drama. If you're not a fan of Noah Baumbach, then this movie will definitely not make you a fan of Noah Baumbach, but again, if you're a fan of him, you'll love this film. Coming in number 3 is Beasts of No Nation. Beasts of No Nation, it kind of baffles me that this was not nominated for Academy Awards, which is very weird. Mudbound is like the first Netflix film that actually gets all these nominations and stuff. Well, good for Mudbound, because Mary J. Blige is really great in that film, but I always thought Idris Elba should have been nominated for this movie, Beasts of No Nation. Beasts of No Nation should have also gotten a screenplay nomination. This is a dark, gritty, raw film. It's very long, but it's long for a reason. The tone is really dark and bleak, and it fits well with the story it's about to tell and stuff. And it's very well acted. It's very hard to watch at times, but it is a story that most people should learn and should know and stuff. Again, not for younger viewing. This is a very dark and very just gritty film, but it is well worth your watch. Idris Elba is absolutely fantastic. It is so well written. It is very compelling. It is very sad in a lot of moments, and yeah, it's just a damn great film and one of the best. Coming in number 2 is Geralds Game. Geralds Game is directed by Mike Flanagan. Spoilers! It's not the first this is not the only Mike Flanagan film you're going to see on this list. Gerald's Game. Stephen King adaptation, never read the book, but this movie is so freaking good. It is absolutely amazing. Carla Gugino in this movie she is so good. I think she probably should have been nominated for an Oscar for her performance in this movie. She is so compelling in this film. She gives such a great, compelling, three-dimensional performance in this film. And again, this is all her, chained to a bed and reminiscing about her life and seeing this weird creature in the darkness and stuff, because pretty much her and her husband were trying to get a little freaky in the bed, and basically has a heart attack and dies while she's chained still to the bed. And then there's a dog eating the husband's flesh, and she is basically stuck in the middle of nowhere in this house, no one around it, chained to the bed. It is a great film. It's a great character study. It's a great survival movie. It is very intense. It is scary as fuck when they show the, I don't know what the creature dude is, but every time at nighttime she sees this figure in her bedroom, and it's like this weird dude that has this box, and you don't know if he's real or not, and it's fucking creepy and scary as hell and shit. And I won't spoil what happens, but this is a really great, very clever film, and I just loved the way Mike Flanagan directed this film. It is so well done. And again, Carla Gugino's performance is so amazing. This is one of her best performances in any film. This is a great character study. Her character, learning more about her, you just feel all the more sympathy for her. She is a very broken character because of her childhood and stuff. And I absolutely love this film, and it's definitely a great film to watch during the Halloween season, and definitely one of the better Netflix films out there. It is amazing. And my number one favorite, or my number one best Netflix movie, in my opinion, is the movie Hush. Yes, another Mike Flanagan film, Hush. Hush is so good. I've talked a lot about this movie. This is a great film. I did a whole review of this movie. This is so fantastic. Katie Siegel is amazing. John Gallagher Jr. as this weird hunter serial killer. Fantastic. Simple story. This girl, she's a writer, she's deaf, she's in the middle of nowhere trying to write a book, but then the power goes out and there's this hunter outside her house in the middle of the woods, and he's out to kill her. He killed the neighbors, she's got nowhere to run, she can't scream because she's deaf. Basically, she has to go one-on-one with this guy to fight to survive. It is a great cat and mouse horror thriller, and it is amazing. The direction's fantastic, it is intense, 2 amazing performances, great atmosphere, a fantastic score, a very intense climax, and just, it's an all-around fantastic film. I watch this like 3 or 4 times every October now because this is just such a wildly entertaining and thrilling film, and easily my favorite film that is on Netflix, the Netflix original film. So yeah, that was my top 10 best Netflix movies in my opinion. So in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with the top 10 list? If not, give me your top 10 favorite movies that are on Netflix. Netflix original movies. Yes, not movies that are just on Netflix. They have to be actual Netflix movies. So yeah, remember that. So yeah, give me your thoughts and opinions, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.